You're listening to Podcast PXN,
a video game podcast
delivering a player experience news.
Let's go! What is up, guys, and welcome to Podcast PXN, episode 266. I am one of your hosts, Daniel Prindle, aka Dan is DTM on Twitter, and I'm joined over Discord by the Nintendo aficionado and artist extraordinaire, Roshan Warner at Roro.
Hello, hello.
Hello, hello. And we are joined by not the host of Large Popcorn and video producer at The Gamer, Christian Macias. He's in the chat right now, but he will return. The reformed Tarkov Teletubby and fellow Spartan Gage Dempster at Gilbo Biggin.
Happy to be here, Dan.
Hell yeah. Get into it. Thank you to everyone watching us live and participating in the chat. Just as a reminder, we are live each and every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time on youtube.com/@podcastpxn and twitch.tv/podcastpxn as well. The topic of the show this week, guys, is our Call of Duty Black Ops 6 impressions. Normally, we're jumping right into the topic of the show, but real quick, housekeeping. On Saturday, it was none other than Christian's 30th birthday. So let's say
3-0.
Let's say a happy birthday to the man that has turned to the dark side of the 30s.
Happy birthday.
Wait, why did I not hear that? I didn't hear the soundboard.
I
there we go.
clicked the emoji instead of.
I was like, what the?
Oh, God.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Incredible.
We're having technical difficulties. I don't know how that got in there.
Wow. Oh no. Christian Macias is saying there's breaking news that he's sending in Twitter. We'll have to add that to the show. And Glenn says, and fellow sack of shit, apparently. He's talking about you, Gage, I guess.
Oh yeah, because I was the person that did sack of shit things today, huh? I love this. I can't wait for him to weasel his way out of this. But anyways.
Yeah, well, I'm sure we'll talk about that right about now in the topic of the show. Call of Duty Black Ops 6 impressions. Here we are, but before we talk about those impressions, there is one story here that's related from the week. That essentially an analyst was predicting the impact of Game Pass and the sales that will be subsequently lost from Game Pass. And this is just an analyst projecting what he thinks is going to happen. Right. But essentially he said that... let me find it. Black Ops 6 could boost Game Pass subscriber numbers by between 2.5 million and 4 million subscribers. However, analysts also predict a significant impact on sales of Black Ops 6. Call of Duty is usually the best-selling game every year, which we knew that. But now it's a big question mark over whether it will achieve that record once again, with Black Ops 6 being a part of Game Pass. Now, we did see today with Microsoft's, they released their statement today, and Satya Nadella, I believe, said that maybe not Call of Duty specifically, maybe just Xbox. I thought, yeah, it might just be Xbox in general, had the highest amount of players playing that they've ever had. So I guess there's at least positive growth there. It's just going to be interesting to see what the impact on sales for Call of Duty Black Ops 6 is.
I have a question for you, Dan.
Yeah.
Will we get sales numbers anymore from Call of Duty?
That's a good point.
Because Xbox doesn't like to do it, but Activision did. So how going forward, are we even going to see those numbers?
That is a good point. I think that the answer is, if the sales numbers are roughly the same or more, I think that they would reveal them. But if they're less because of Game Pass, then I don't think that they will reveal them. Yeah.
Which is a great way for us to... That's exactly the only information we'll get as to how much it sold. Yeah.
Yeah. 100%. All right, so I have this subdivided here into 3 sections: campaign, multiplayer, and zombies. I thought we'd run through our thoughts on each here. We'll start with campaign. I'll start with my thoughts because I've played a significant amount of the campaign already. I'm about, I think, 5 or 6 missions through the campaign, maybe. And so far, I am actually very pleasantly surprised and happy with the campaign thus far. Like the story bits, I've very much enjoyed. Even when you go to like the safe house, for instance, the safe house you go back to after each mission, and you kind of plan like the steps for the next mission, and there's dialogue with characters there. When the first time that I went there, I just explored everything in the mansion. Like I was just excited to like see what things like were hidden in there, and there was actually a couple of neat little puzzles which I wasn't expecting to get some cool items as well. I don't want to spoil anything, but I thought that that was pretty cool to kind of gamify that a little bit. I think going back to the safe house after each mission is a little lackluster because you're going back there and it's essentially the same space each time, and the only thing that updates is the dialogue with the characters, which, you know, okay, sure, but it would have been cool to have like more things to do after each mission to kind of find throughout the house. So that is one criticism of that. But in terms of the missions thus far, I've very much enjoyed how each mission has felt very unique to me thus far. Like there were some missions that I felt like were kind of positioned as more stealthy missions. You didn't have to play that way, but like, of course, as a huge Splinter Cell fan, I was fucking playing every one of those missions as stealthily as I could, and like I even got an achievement on one of them for playing the whole mission stealth, which is awesome. And yeah, I've enjoyed that, and the narrative I've enjoyed as well thus far, kind of seeing where it goes. So yeah, that's kind of my take on the campaign thus far. Gage, how deep are you into it?
How deep? That is a good question. I want to say I'm 3 to 4 hours in. If you can remember to the mission I was asking you about in our group chat, that's the last mission that I completed, and then I just started the next one.
Iraq, right?
Is the one that I've started but haven't actually got into yet. Yes.
Which that one's huge. That's a big mission.
I feel like there's deceptively a lot to talk about here that we could get into. I don't know if we will spend a whole lot of time on it, but what's interesting to me playing this campaign is that there are seeds here where I'm like, man, if these guys were really given free reign, you can tell that they want to do something more than Call of Duty. Right? And I don't mean that they don't want to not make Call of Duty. Like, they probably still like making Call of Duty, but just in terms of like breaking the mold, there's like an essence of something more here that they want to do. And I haven't played it yet, but I have heard things from the Iraq mission that kind of go on to what I'm saying, where it's just kind of this big, huge open space, and they're kind of messing around with the standard Call of Duty gameplay formula. I've really enjoyed the campaign. I have some issues with the writing. I think it suffers from what I like to call video game talk or video game dialogue, where I remember back in the old, like, say if you're doing a stealth mission in a Call of Duty game and like you're sniping people, right? I remember back in the old games, you'd always have your person on the mic that's walking you through the mission, and he'd be like, "Oh, he's not getting up," right? You take somebody out, he'd be like, "Oh, night." And in this one, like, there's this one mission, it took me out of it, where he's like, you're shooting people, and he's like, "Wow, you're really great with that sniper." I'm like, all right, we are killing people. We are ending people's lives. Let's settle down here a little bit. So aside from some writing issues, I'm really, really digging the pacing and the formula of the campaign, and I think Treyarch is, with what little time they have, we keep talking about 4 years. It's the longest that anyone's had to make a Call of Duty. But in terms of video game standards, like, it's not that long for a AAA blockbuster video game. I'd say 4 years is probably like the average. So it's kind of like, yay, they've been given the average amount of time to work on something. But even with that little extra time, you can see that they are trying to elevate the Call of Duty campaign, and I agree with you, Dan. I've been having a blast with it, and I can't remember the last time, maybe Modern Warfare 2019, that I've kind of been like, oh wow, there's something here, there's something to this.
Yeah, and I agree with the writing stuff. I think I said I enjoy the story. That does not entail the writing. I just
Totally
like the
different. Yeah, I hear you.
Right. Yeah, because
the pacing of the story is interesting and like what's
Yeah.
happening, but then the character writing is separate
goofy.
from that. I agree
Yeah.
with you. Yes, yeah.
But I also think the Iraq mission in particular kind of highlights this, that they were definitely going for something more in this campaign. I don't think it completely works in the Iraq mission, to be honest. I think that my problem with the Iraq mission is you have a bunch of icons on the map. You're going to all those icons and you're just doing a simple task, and that's it. So like, it doesn't get too deep necessarily, but it is cool that they kind of highlight different points of interest, and then each of those points of interest actually do help you in the rest of the mission, by the rewards that you get from those. But yeah, I agree with you. I think there's definitely some seeds there of more that they wanted to do with it for sure. Yeah, I don't know. It's a good campaign thus far.
Yep.
Multiplayer is probably the thing I can speak on the least because I haven't played a ton of it. The only matches I played is when I played with you guys. Other than the beta, I obviously had an extensive time with the beta with it. And, from everything we played in the beta, I very much enjoyed it. I think the same problems that I have are creeping back up in the full release, which is like some of the maps I just think are not good. Like that one map that you're playing on, it should be a fucking 2v2 map, and where we got 16 players or however many players on the map at once. That's a little insane. Like that's claustrophobic, and but there are some good stuff to point out from the multiplayer as well. Like I feel like I said this when we did the beta as well, that I feel like the Omni movement actually makes things more interesting with multiplayer, and as we'll talk about here in a minute with zombies, because I feel like it gives you more flexibility. It feels like you have more options to get out of a situation than you would have had before. And I know Christian had complaints about maps not being structured towards it, which I get that. I'm just saying, like, in terms of the moment-to-moment gameplay, it can have some effect there where, you're strafing side to side and you're sprinting, and it's kind of helping you get around shots a little bit. But, yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you with maps. I feel like that's been an issue for Call of Duty as long as I can remember, where some of the maps hit, some of the maps don't. And maybe that's not even a Call of Duty problem. Maybe that's just a first person shooter problem in general of trying to get as many maps at launch as possible. You're bound to have some duds. But I do agree with you. Like, it's something that feels like it stands out. So the ratio's got to be pretty close to 50-50 for that to feel like it's sort of standing out. My biggest issue with multiplayer is not the maps. It's the time to kill for me. I really like the Omni movement system, and like you said, we're going to talk about that more in zombies, which is the area that you and I can probably speak to the most. The Omni movement system, I was really worried about before the game launched, and I thought it looked kind of goofy and it wouldn't feel right. Pleasantly surprised that I am wrong. It does feel really smooth. It does feel really good. But the problem is that because they've made your characters more agile than ever and more fast-paced than ever, I was really hoping they would balance that out with a bit of a longer TTK, which is something that Black Ops games usually have had, like compared to the other studios that make these games. But Black Ops 6, to me, feels like it has some of the fastest time to kill of any COD I've ever played. So for me personally, like, everybody has their own thing, and like a lot of people are really digging the multiplayer. So for the COD fan base, it seems like that's what they want. But for me, it's too much. It's way too fast. It's way too twitchy. I like having a good back and forth. like I've said before, I'm a huge Battlefield fan. I really love that Battlefield TTK that they usually have, which is a nice sweet spot. If you get shot a couple times and you're able to sprint to cover, you have enough health that you can turn around and have a back and forth. In Black Ops 6, it's just not possible. It is very much who sees who first is kind of how it's gonna go, unless you're facing, Glenn or somebody that just can't aim for shit. So yeah, I don't know. Yeah, really, really, really fast TTK. Not quite my speed. Omni movement's very good. I like some of the maps, but I agree with you. The maps are definitely an issue.
Shots fired, Glenn. You may miss.
Yeah, but don't worry, they're not going to hit you.
Yeah. Oh god, that's incredible. The multiplayer. Yeah, it is so interesting because I think when we first played it, the beta, I was like, man, this time to kill is actually pretty long. But I hadn't actually played Call of Duty proper multiplayer in so long that I was just like, I guess I kind of forgot what it was.
Right.
Because I think the only multiplayer that I ever played in like the last few years was DMZ with you. And obviously that's very different with having the plates and stuff. You have a longer.
Yes.
Yeah. So very interesting. Very interesting.
That's always been my turn off. I haven't played a lot of Call of Duty games, but every time I play the multiplayer, it's like
Too fast.
Gage was saying, it's just whoever sees whoever first, unless it's me or Glenn, apparently. Because even if I see somebody and I just whiff it, but I don't get a chance to like recover ever.
Right.
Like if somebody's shooting me, I can't like turn around and go around a corner. Like I'm done. It's done.
That's why Gage and I are such big Halo fans, because you got that time.
Correct.
So let's get you on board with Halo. I mean,
goodness gracious.
All right. Then to the third part, the final piece of the trilogy of Black Ops, I guess we'll call it the Holy Trinity of Black Ops.
The Triforce Trinity.
Yeah.
The Triforce of Black Ops.
Yeah, we need a Legend of Zelda skin in Zombies.
Don't give him any ideas.
Yeah.
Nintendo would never.
No, yeah, you're right.
That'd be cool.
All right, so Zombies. Our impressions of Zombies. We've played quite a bit of Zombies already. I played with you quite a bit, Gage, and to your utter surprise, I played a round right before the podcast with Glenn, and Glenn may have deceived and said that he reached out to you, and you said that, oh yeah, I don't think that's going to be possible, Glenn.
Yeah, it is kind of crazy. I'm getting reports of that too. That it was claimed that he reached out to me today to play something, and I had responded to him saying that I can't. But according to my records, Dan, that didn't actually happen at all, even a little bit. It seems like that story was completely fucking fabricated.
Wow.
And just didn't happen.
Wow, that's insane,
Whoa.
Glenn. I can't believe you did that to him. We did extract too at round 31, which I was like, hell yeah, I haven't extracted yet, so it was cool to see that.
That sounds like that was really cool. It would have been a really cool thing to be a part of.
Hey, I would have invited you if he hadn't said, oh yeah, I already reached out to him. He didn't want to.
Right.
Glenn, come at us in the chat. We want to hear all the excuses. Zombies for me. I feel like it's been a long time since I've been like super invested in Zombies. Like I enjoyed Cold War Zombies, but like I wasn't super invested in it. Like I didn't have other people that were playing it that I would squad up with or anything, and I wasn't really grabbed by it at the time. So it's been a long time since I've been invested in Zombies. This Zombies already has me very invested. It is great. Like so many of the things, I know, Gage, you're going to talk about this, but so many things that fans of Cold War Zombies and other iterations of Treyarch Zombies, people have been excited to see a lot of those cooler features return. But also some of the new stuff is very, very cool as well. And just like the tension that you get to when you get to like the 30s, the waves and the 30s, it just gets freaking insane. Like the manglers, which are the big armored dudes that shoot you with this like cannon thing, it gets ridiculous. They send so many of those things after you, and it gets it's crazy. And you kind of have to like use strategy to like formulate a plan. Like Glenn and I, when we were just playing a little bit ago, we had to come up with a plan how to extract. So like I was holding on to a chopper gunner for a couple rounds before 31, knowing we were going to extract at 31. He also got a chopper gunner, and we held those for the last moment so that we could kind of hold out on the roof. He used the chopper gunner, then I used chopper gunner, and then we were like, we're set. This is awesome. So it's fun to kind of make like one last stand there at the end of Zombies. But the moment to moment stuff is really great, and I've had a ton of fun with it thus far.
Yep. I agree with you. I really think that they are similar to the campaign, where I say like they're taking the standard Zombies formula and elevating a bit. There's less of that between Cold War and now. Like a lot of the big like if you're somebody who hasn't played Zombies in say like 10 years, right? And you play Black Ops 6, a lot of the features that are new to you did come from Cold War. Like they did do a lot of the leap forward, I'd say, in Cold War. But they brought forward everything that I wanted them to bring forward for this. And they're kind of they're elevating the Zombies game mode from just in a sort of extra throwaway mode that's like some fun with your friends to they are trying to kind of make it its own sort of something that you can come back to, like its own sort of, I don't want to throw this word around, but it really does feel more like a roguelike with all these sort of meta power-ups and perks and augments that you're researching. It is
That's
very
true.
much it is kind of leaning that way, which I like personally, because like I said, it can either stay just the fun co-op mode where you just jump in with your friends for some mindless fun, or you can try and elevate it to something more serious to kind of retain people. And the community is split on that. Like some people wish that it was simpler and it was just like the old days, but for somebody like me, like I do kind of want a reason to keep playing this. I want things to grind for. So the fact that it is kind of steering more and more into a roguelike sort of direction, for me, that's huge. I like that a lot. So there's tons of things to earn outside of the game when you're playing it. So you're leveling up your weapons. Obviously you can get different attachments, and you can choose which attachments will spawn on the weapons that you find in game, which is a big reason for leveling up your weapons. But then there's also this new gameplay feature to Black Ops 6, which is called augments, where you can pretty much modify the perks in your game. So maybe instead of your healing beam that you can unlock, instead of just healing people, you can research an augment that you do just from playing the game, and then now it can res people as well. And there's little things like that where you can tweak all these different aspects of the game, and that's something that's really, really cool and speaks to me. I like that they did that, and yeah, man, I'm having a blast with it. I feel like I gotta say this too. Prior to the game coming out, I was with everybody. I was like, man, this Liberty Falls map, it looks kind of quickly thrown together, and it doesn't really look like Zombies. Yeah. And now that the game's launched and I've played both maps, Liberty Falls fucking slaps, dude. Yes. I love Liberty Falls. It plays great. The layout is awesome. Yeah. So I apologize to Treyarch, all right? I was a doubter. I was a hater. Yeah. Liberty Falls is fucking awesome, man.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I was saying the same thing as you, and yeah, Liberty Falls is the better map. I think it's awesome. Yep. That's the one that every time we play, that's the one I want to play. And maybe that's not fair to Terminus, because I think I've only played Terminus once or twice, however many times we did it. But yeah, Liberty Falls is a lot of fun. Glenn has a defense here, and maybe I misconstrued it, but I feel like this is saying the same thing. He said, well, for starters, Dan has taken that completely out of context. I said yesterday when I was playing with Gage, he said there's no way he'd be up in time to play a match before the pod. So he didn't reach out today. Oh. He was talking about yesterday, I guess. So.
I feel like that does track just ever so slightly.
All right, there you go, Glenn. You got your justification.
Your name is cleared.
Yeah, your name is cleared for now.
All right. So Black Ops 6, we're happy with it.
It seems like PXN recommends Black Ops 6 if you have Game Pass, I guess.
We give it a recommends out of 10.
Exactly.
All right. Alas, let's move into the PXN news of the week. And Rose, like, thank God we made it out of that segment.
I love Call of Duty. I've never spoken ill about it. I recommend it as well.
Rose keeping that potential future Activision sponsorship in his back pocket right now.
You never know.
Never close doors. I appreciate it, Ro. I respect it.
Call of Duty TV, Call of Duty TV. Sorry. All right. Breaking news, Christian sent. Oh, okay. Yes. Breaking news, Christian is filling in stuff on the fly and he's not even here. What a legend.
Working off the clock.
Wow. Oh, Glenn's also saying both of us can shove it. Rose the real MVP. I agree.
I disagree.
All right. Sony has officially closed both Neon Koi. I'm
Koi?
not sure how you say that. Koi?
I think it's Koi.
Okay. And Firewalk Studios, the creators of Concord. So they announced today, and Herman Hulst sent out an internal email. I'm not going to read the whole email here, but essentially announced that they are closing both studios. Firewalk was sold to Sony, remember, in April of 2023. And Firewalk also posted a final goodbye on Twitter, which I will read. Firewalk is signing off one last time. Firewalk began with the idea of bringing the joy of multiplayer to a larger audience. Along the way, we assembled an incredible team who were able to navigate growing a new startup into a team during a global pandemic. Firewalk was founded in 2018 and was very small for its first couple of years, only entering full production in 2022. Build a new customized next-generation FPS engine in Unreal Engine 4 to 5. Delivering top-tier gameplay. Well, that's a bunch of fluff. I'm not going to read the fluff. Manage an acquisition integration while readying technical and preliminary tests. And ultimately ship and deliver a great FPS experience to players, even if it landed much more narrowly than hoped against a heavily consolidated market. We took some risks along the way, marrying aspects of card battlers and fighting games with first-person shooters, and although some of these and other aspects of the IP didn't land as we hoped, the idea of putting new things into the world is critical to pushing the medium forward. The talent at Firewalk and the level of individual craft is truly world-class, and teams within Sony Interactive Entertainment and across the industry will be fortunate to work with them. Please reach out to recruiting at PlayStation for inquiries. And thank you to all the many teams, partners, and fans who supported us along the way. See you in the Tempest, Firewalk Studios. So I do find it interesting that they are officially closing them, considering they just purchased them in April of 2023. And what I can't get my mind past is that this game released and had, fairly average review scores. Like, it wasn't this game didn't launch and was like a 5 out of 10 or something. Right. Which is like, I don't know how you guys feel about this, but it's just, to me, to close them immediately after their first project ever as a studio ships and wasn't a bad, quote unquote, bad game. I don't know. I don't feel really great about that. I don't know.
It's a very strange move. I'd argue it seems almost irresponsible on Sony's part, because you're right. When you look at the animation, when you look at the graphics and stuff like that, like there were parts of this game that were like, oh, this is pretty good. And you have a whole studio now that belongs to you. I don't understand the thought process behind saying, you know what, we're not going to move the Firewalk people. We're not going to put them on a safe project that we like, that can benefit the Sony portfolio. We're not going to lend these. We're not going to put Firewalk in a support situation where now they're supporting, say, Santa Monica or something like that. We're not going to do any of these things. We're going to close them. We're gonna kill our investment. We're going to lose that money forever, and we're just going to close the studio. I don't understand that. This harkens back to the whole Last of Us Online thing, where it seemed like they made a huge decision just to stop I don't know. I feel like there's a million different things you could do with this studio, because like you said, Dan, they did not make a horrible game that didn't function. They made a game in an oversaturated market that nobody wanted to play. But the game itself was not bad. So I don't know why these developers aren't being used for literally anything else. It seems like there's a bunch of stuff they could be doing with them. I don't know. I thought Jim Ryan was gone, but these sound like Jim Ryan-ass decisions. So who knows what's going on?
Yeah, I think when we saw the news, I think the first thing that I said was that I'm surprised that it happened, but also not surprised that it happened. I forget the exact word. It was more that, but yeah, like the only thing that seems to matter to a lot of these studios is the numbers and how well it sells and how many people are playing, and even if it's good or a 7 out of 10. That really doesn't matter because they've closed, like I said, Tango Gameworks, but even on Sony's side, Japan Studio, which released fantastic games, and this is years ago now, but they have fantastic games under their belt, but apparently they weren't selling enough. That people weren't buying the game, so they just shut it down. And to my knowledge, I don't remember the exact reason for it, but to me, there's no good reason to close down such a studio that has such good pedigree underneath their belt that added to their portfolio. And for this studio to literally release one game after being purchased by them, for them not to see the potential in that, even though they spent the money on the studio, is yeah, like you guys said, irresponsible, I think. And I think anybody should be worried if Sony wants to buy them in the future, if that's what they're going to do with their studios, if they don't hit a certain number, even if they do deliver a good 7 out of 10 product.
Yeah. And like, I think what's interesting, Ro, you brought up Tango, which is such a great comparison because it's the same, well, probably a worse inclination because of how good Hi-Fi Rush was. And then they're just like, fuck it.
Just didn't sell enough.
Yeah, and like Gage, you were talking about like, could we not do something else with the studio? And like that's actually a really great point. Like, why can't the studio that is working with a modified version of Unreal Engine 4 and 5 not work with other developers that are working on Unreal Engine 4 and 5 games? Like that makes perfect sense. Like, and maybe that wouldn't have worked in Tango's case because I believe their engine was proprietary. But like in the situation of Firewalk, that they're working with one of the most universal game engines out there, why would you not fucking, like, you could have a small team at Firewalk working on whatever they want to do next, and then most of the studio working on a support project with Unreal Engine. Like that, yeah, that is kind of crazy.
Right.
Yeah. Like you guys said, it was a 7 out of 10 game. Like the bones were there, like the gameplay bones were there, but we shouldn't also forget that what Gage said, like the oversaturation and the generic characters and it just looking kind of bland as well. Even though the gameplay was good, there was a lot of stuff missing, and I don't think that's completely the fault of the development team, of course. But again, like Sony just needs to like recalculate what they're doing and what they're putting their money into if they're going to be so quick to just to shut down studios like this.
Indeed. Stop shutting down studios, everyone.
Please. Let them get at least one other chance.
Right.
My goodness.
Insane. All right. Our second news of the week item, Marathon from Bungie has gotten a video update from game director Joe Ziegler. Essentially, the video was kind of bare bones, and I saw a lot of criticism from people online saying like, well, this basically doesn't talk about anything, which is fair, but I also feel like at the same extent, it's nice to have a dialogue with your fans about what's going on with the game. And like he was very clear about they still have things to work on with the game in terms of like enemy design was one of the things that they specifically referenced that is still in early stages, and they're trying to get that narrowed down. And I thought it was interesting to kind of get a glimpse behind what this game is shaping up to look like. And I did find it interesting also. I listened to Hidden Xperia. He's a big Halo lore guy, and he loves Marathon as well. He put out a video about this as well, because he was actually invited to Bungie to play Marathon early, and he gave feedback to them, and the things that he was able to say about the game, essentially he was saying that he was not expecting to, he didn't outright say this, but I'm kind of interpreting his words because he had to be careful of how he was saying things because of NDA. But like what I gathered from him is he was very surprised at how much he enjoyed the new direction, quote unquote, under the new game director Joe, because when it was first leaked or whatever that he was taking over, of course he formerly was the game director of Valorant. People were worried it was going to turn into like too much of abilities and make it like a hero shooter essentially.
Right.
And it sounds like, based on what Hidden Xperia was saying, it's not necessarily like that, and it's not taking away from the game. Like it's additive to the world of Marathon, and that is exciting to me. I'm still very excited for Marathon, despite Bungie's been going through a lot of turmoil internally, but I'm still
externally.
Yes, that's
Last
true.
of Us.
That's true. Yeah. Although we say that, but I don't know. We don't want to go
true.
down that.
I know.
We
I'm just
don't.
picking at old wounds.
Right. We've never seen it. So, but like, I do think it's interesting to kind of get a bit of a idea of what that is. I would personally, if you're gonna watch something to get an idea of what this is like, I would watch Hidden Xperia's video rather than watch the game director's video. I think he was very Hidden Xperia was kind of offering up a lot of information like in a subtle way. But we also got a look at two of the runners in the game, both codenamed. One of them was codenamed Thief, and the other one Stealth. And there was a lot of discussion by Joe in the video as well that Thief is essentially like what it sounds like. That character is going to be very much reminiscent of the name, the code name that they've given it. So I'm interested in the Stealth though, because I fucking love Stealth, as we were just talking about a little bit ago. So if that name is like inclining that you're gonna have like a character with like camo and stuff like that, oh, I'm excited. And these screenshots look really cool. That the two screenshots of the runners they showed off, I'm excited for it. It looks cool.
Yeah, there's very little to glean from this. I haven't watched the Hidden Xperia video yet, so
yeah.
I can only speak to what you're saying. The stealth thing is interesting. Like, it would be really cool if they really pushed the boundaries of what to expect in an extraction shooter. Like, it would be really cool if there was a class that the all of the abilities were set up to avoid combat, and you got XP or points in a different way, right? Like you just were slinking around the map, waiting for people to fight off each other and doing what you need to do without getting seen. That'd be kind of neat. That would be something that's different and fresh. Yeah, I'm not too worried about the whole class abilities thing. I do remember when the switch behind the director was made, and people were saying like, "Oh, it's gonna be like Valorant now, or it's gonna be this, or it's gonna be like Overwatch." But people have in the past been able to combine hero shooter like qualities and class and abilities into genres that previously didn't have them. A great example, and I think the reason that this game succeeded so well is because it had no marketing up to when it released, was Apex Legends. Apex Legends is absolutely a hero-based shooter in a battle royale format, which before that came out, you would have thought, oh, that sounds like a bad combo. But Apex Legends, granted, I haven't played it in years, was great when it came out. It was awesome. It totally, that gameplay style for me worked. So I'm not too worried about that in terms of Marathon. I think if they can do it in a fresh and exciting way, which it's Hidden Experience hints that might be the impression that he got, then I'm totally down for that. I think that's cool.
Hell yeah. Are you gonna be back on board with Bungie, Ro? Or you're gonna be like, I'm out?
I'm not too sure. I think I do need to see more on this one.
Absolutely.
From what I've seen, it doesn't really speak to me besides the art. The art is super cool. I love everything I've seen about that so far. Like the vibes are definitely there. I just don't know if it's the type of game that I would gravitate towards.
Fair enough.
But yeah, I'm interested to see more, and I think it's cool that they're trying to share as much as they can so early. I sometimes it could backfire, and like this one kind of did, where it's just like it's not anything. But I think a dialogue between, like you're saying, like between fans and the developers is cool most of the time. Nice to get a little peek behind the scenes if you're really excited for the game.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think it's also important to note as well, like someone was saying this in a reply to someone on Twitter, and they're like, someone from Bungie, affiliated to Bungie, I can't remember who it was, but they were like, yeah, we had to put this game out there in March of 23 when they shut off that trailer. We had to do it because we needed to staff up for this project. Like, and the best way to staff up for a project is to show off something like this so that we can get people excited to want to come work on this game. Which makes sense. And obviously the game's changed a bit since then, but I think that's just the nature of game development, honestly. Shit. I did the wrong one again. Yeah, Christian. Damn it. Thank you. I had the wrong names up on the stream. That's my fault. That is 100% fault. That happens. And then they have a new logo and tagline. Escape will make me God is their tagline, with a new Marathon logo as well. Kind of keeps with the neon green theme, but very interesting. All right. The final news of the week item, which is the breaking news we were referring to earlier that Christian has delightfully sent us. Steven Totillo posts on his Twitter account, double scoop. Brian Horton is no longer the creative director of Marvel's Wolverine from PlayStation Insomniac Games. He is now the creative director of Perfect Dark from Xbox and The Initiative. Ratchet and Clank leads are now running Wolverine, which is very interesting. Because I feel like Perfect Dark should be far enough along, especially if it's coming next year, that they wouldn't need a new creative director. But I guess maybe it's possible that maybe their creative director left, maybe, and got a new job. I don't know.
It seems really late in the night to be switching up creative directors. Interesting. I wonder, we've only ever heard that Perfect Dark is a single player game, right?
Correct.
That's the only thing they've spoken about.
Yep.
My only thinking is that maybe there is a multiplayer offering they're working on, right? That's how Perfect Dark has operated in the past as a franchise. It's always got a multiplayer mode, but I don't know, man. I don't know. If I'm being honest, it doesn't sound like a good thing. But but I don't know. Very interesting.
That is
Yeah,
interesting.
it could mean that it's further away. Like it could end up being a good thing, like when the game eventually comes out. But I guess, yeah, now is like it's a little. It
Slated
seems
for
like
next year as of right now, I think. Yeah.
right. It's interesting indeed. I hope. I don't know. Everything that we've heard about this game so far, I feel like to be that it's in trouble.
Yeah.
With like it having a reboot and switching studios and now new director.
This is what it takes to make a quadruple A game, Roshan. You just don't
Oh, yeah,
understand.
that's true.
This is quadruple A gaming. Remember?
Yeah.
Oh man.
Which is funny because I thought that the last look we got at Perfect Dark, actually, I was excited for it. I thought it looked cool. So I don't know.
If I remember correctly, the majority of PXN thought it looked cool. I was in the minority. I thought it looked very bad. I thought it looked like a mobile game, but I don't know. We'll see.
We'll see. We shall see. All right. The interesting thing there also is one of the I think lead artists maybe maybe design. No, I think it was a design person. One of the design people from Insomniac Games, one of the high profile ones, I can't think of his name at the moment, but he was a big designer on Sunset Overdrive. He went to the initiative to work on Perfect Dark, and then 6 months later, after he joined them, he went back to Insomniac because I guess he didn't like it because of the turmoil in the initiative. So now we're getting a different Insomniac person going there. So very interesting.
We'll see. We'll see if he lasts longer than 6 months this time.
Yeah. All right. Christian says, "I dare Gage to draft this in fantasy. I might do it. I have belief.
Please,
no, I
please
don't
do it.
I'm not even sure if it's coming out next year after this happened. I don't know. Who knows? All right. Moving into our quick bites. A PlayStation player, guys, has bought 24 years of PlayStation Plus. What? He decided to stack PlayStation Plus subscriptions until 2048 because of the absurd price increases the past few years. All right. Sure.
How much did it cost him?
It cost him a lot. It costed him. It has the total here, I thought.
No, I guess not. I guess I just have to do the math.
I think Brian McCaffrey did the math. I think that's what I'm remembering. He posted about it. It was like $2,000 or something like that. Something crazy. I don't know. Because he said also there was a weird loophole that after he did that many years, he was able to upgrade to the top tier for $200 more. So he did it all for $2,000 to get him to the 24 years, and then there was a weird loophole that allowed him to pay $200 to get
a one-time upgrade to upgrade all of that.
To get it all upgraded to the highest tier. Yeah. I was like, what the frick? I don't know. That seems a little. I mean, I'm one that stacks my Xbox subscriptions, but I only have 3 years. I thought that. I
was gonna say, I hope that they that the rug doesn't get pulled out from him, because that seems like something that, I don't know. That seems like that would flag something on a system somewhere, right? Yeah. And then they'd be like, "No, sorry, you can't do this." But I hope it works out for him, because he's already spent all the money.
Check back in 2048.
Right.
Yeah.
Check back in episode 4600, and we'll let you know if this guy made it.
Insane. All right. Moving on to the next quick bite. Guys, you can officially, this is announced, post-stream Season 2, Episode 1 of Arcane on Twitch when it comes out, starting the stream November 8th.
Huge.
On the lead up to the episode on November 9th.
Hey, what?
So it's going live at 11 p.m. Pacific on November 8th, and then the episode goes live at midnight Pacific on November 9th. So 3 a.m. East
Jesus
time,
Christ.
Eastern time. Yeah.
Guess who's gonna be there? Minute 1.
Stupid.
This guy.
You know what's crazy
And-
though?
Well, go ahead.
This is occurring on a Friday night.
Oh.
So-
Is it Friday night or is it Saturday night?
Well, I
Oh,
mean, it's Saturday morning.
at 3 a.m.
Yeah,
Okay. Okay.
That's doable.
yeah. So we could do it.
We could do it.
You know.
That'd be fun.
What I'm sure we'll definitely do is we'll have it'll be the comeback of the PXN book club.
Yes.
The adaptations where we
Yeah.
discuss the adaptation. So I'm sure that the following Wednesday, if you tune in, at least Roshan, Dan, and I will have something to say. Maybe we can coax Christian into it. I doubt it.
Are they releasing all the episodes, or are they just doing weekly?
No.
Okay.
They're doing acts, which I absolutely fucking love. So 3
Okay.
episodes 1 week, 3 episodes the next week, 3
Okay.
episodes the last week.
Gotcha. That's doable. 3 episodes.
Mhm.
Hell yeah. All right. Christian says no.
Yeah.
Immediately no.
Christian has this thing with quality programming where he has an on-off relationship with it.
All right.
You gotta watch Liverpool.
We've got Indiana Jones and the Great Circle getting final impressions from the media that are hitting now. I copied a couple of them here, but this is just a quick bite, so I'm not going to go deep into it. But it seems like a couple. I have seen a little bit of criticism saying that this game is maybe just a bit too like adventure focused, not necessarily much action involved. But there are some people that are saying that it's like very exciting having that. Ryan McCaffrey specifically says, I previously said it gave me serious Riddick Escape from Butcher Bay vibes. It still does, but actually playing it revealed another classic influence, Thief. And so I thought that was interesting. It does seem like it's a bit more adventure focused rather than the action, which is fine with me. I'm all for a cool adventure focused video game. I don't know. I feel like we haven't had many of those in a while, especially since Uncharted ended and Tomb Raider pretty much ended, even though they're doing a new reboot. They haven't, you know what I'm saying.
Right.
Very interesting. Some good stuff out there though from these guys. So check out their stuff. Eurogamer also says, sorry, I didn't add this part. I forgot. Eurogamer also says, don't you just love it when a developer treats a renowned film series with the respect it deserves? Here's what we think about Indiana Jones and the Great Circle after 3 hours. And they talk about all of the things that it ties back to the movie series on, and actually respects the source material quite a bit. But yeah, I'm not going to dive deep into it. That's it.
Speaking of respecting the source material,
Yes. And that is because Keanu Reeves is hyping up his version of Shadow in Sonic the Hedgehog movie 3. Let's go. Sonic 3's director says that Keanu Reeves didn't just show up and read the script to voice Shadow. He really wanted to create a very fan sort of faithful version of the character. He did his research. Hell yeah.
I love that. That's amazing. Like, I think a lot of people would just show up and read the script for a series like Sonic the Hedgehog.
Right.
So I think it's cool that he did research on Shadow the Hedgehog. That's so cool, and I'm excited to hear his voice for it. Like I was honestly nervous, not for Keanu, but the Sonic 2 with Idris Elba voicing Knuckles. I was like, oh, this is just a big name.
Yeah.
They just want to attach to the character.
And
for the most part, I think he did a great job with Knuckles. So I'm not worried too much about Keanu voicing Shadow, and I never really am worried about Keanu doing anything. I love him. But yeah, I'm excited to see how he voices the character and how much his research played into that. It's so cool.
Yeah, the Knuckles Paramount show was not the best show, but like Idris Elba is fucking amazing as Knuckles. I love him. Yeah, as Knuckles.
He did what he could.
For sure. All right. Of course, can't be Podcast PXN if Dan's not talking about Halo. So, Halo Infinite just today announced a bunch of new stuff coming next week to their new operation, The Great Journey, which is a, I guess, ode to Halo 2 because we are coming up on the 20th anniversary of Halo 2, which is very cool. Gage is going to be maybe excited about these details. We're getting a Delta Arena playlist, which is essentially, they're saying here, think of it as a modern take on the legacy settings you remember from days of yore. The Delta Arena modes will feature no sprint, no clamber, increased jump height, friendly player collision, and you'll get a mix of Slayer, Oddball, Capture the Flag, and King of the Hill on some maps that might look familiar. One of which being Ascension from Halo 2, Turf, which is being remade as Boulevard from Halo 2, Lockout, which is Canopy in this game, Warlock, which is Conjurer in this game, Midship, which is Inquisitor in this game, Sanctuary, which is Serenity in this game, Beaver Creek, which is Beaver Canyon in this game, and we will also be getting the premiere of third-person firefight mode in this as well as we have a couple new maps for ranked as well. So lots of fucking goodness coming next week. Halo Infinite.
Let's go.
Man, I wish there was something to grind for though.
There's nothing to grind for though, Dan. That's the problem.
Oh, who the fuck put this in here? Who's now seeing this? Fuck. You know what? I've said numerous times before on this podcast, fuck you, Marty O'Donnell. Anyways, all right, moving on to the quick bites. Fortnite gives incentive for voting. I think Christian maybe added this. Somebody added. Whoa, what is this? This is linking to a Podcast PXN post from today at 5:57. They should give you free V-Bucks for voting. Somebody's trolling me, I feel like. Somebody's trolling me. And then there is a Kamala quest that is in Fortnite as well. There's a Harris Waltz Fortnite map that they built. So get in there and fight for your freedom.
Oh my god.
Christian's laughing in the chat, so I'm sure he's the one who's trolling me right there with that link that was going to our podcast Twitter that said they should give you free V-Bucks for voting. Nice.
Was this was done before, right? Like for another candidate? Am I crazy?
Probably, yeah.
Like in years past? I don't remember who it was, but I feel like something similar happened. But I might be thinking of a different world event.
Yeah. It's honestly smart to try to get, attention to younger people if they're of voting age, I guess.
It is smart, but I can't help but feel like this is kind of dirty. I don't like it. I don't want
That's
any
fair.
Politicians doing this. It has nothing to do with who it is or what they're like. I don't know. My gut reaction to this is I don't like it, but you're right, Dan. It is a smart move. It's just it makes me feel gross. I don't like it.
Joe Biden made a Fortnite map, so it did happen before.
Oh. Okay.
But yeah, this is like similar to like, I guess it's different, but how Elon Musk is like giving away checks for people who like sign petitions for Trump, and it's like this is this seems illegal. Like it's weird. Like you're kind of buying votes and like influencing people a certain way. It just feels weird.
My biggest thing is that it's a political stunt, and the game that they're doing it in is E for everyone. Like that's the part
true.
that it's like these are really, I don't know.
I mean, how how many voter age people are playing Fortnite.
That's what I was about to say. Is like, what kid is going to be vote for this?
True.
True.
Yeah.
Very
I see
interesting.
what you're saying, though.
Oh, Natalie's got it right here. Harris versus Trump bundle packs. Yes. Then I can shoot. Oh, I better not say that.
Oh my goodness!
I
You didn't
can
say
shoot.
who,
I
but
can
still.
shoot other people in Fortnite. Not.
In Fortnite.
Yeah.
Fortnite.
Yeah, in Fortnite.
Let's make sure we.
Yeah,
Let's make
let
sure
me
we
clarify
emphasize
that.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say an actual name because then that'll end up getting.
Let's not get our channel destroyed in one day.
In Fortnite, yes, to be clear.
Fortnite.
In Fortnite. Jesus Christ. All right.
You're crazy, Dan.
Christian makes clear in the chat here. E for everyone doesn't mean for kids, Gage. Well, that's fair, but I mean, I feel like
Okay,
most
let's not be intentionally obtuse though, Christian.
Right.
We know like Fortnite is definitely
incredible. All right, the final quick bite here, guys, is one that Rose sent in, and it is from Nintendo. Nintendo Music, a new smart device app exclusively for Nintendo Switch Online members, lets you stream or download music from Nintendo's library of soundtracks. Nintendo Music will be released later today. This is cool.
Very cool. I did see a complaint, like people are noticing that there aren't like credits to the composers of the music, just like tracks for the game, which that kind of sucks. But very Nintendo. They seem to keep their talent hidden from everyone for some reason sometimes. It's like only for us. But yeah, I think it's cool. I saw someone retweet this saying that Nintendo Switch Online is going to be like the future of Nintendo, and I think that they're going to be doing more things like this, like lifestyle stuff, separate from the console, which is cool. I'm into that. Like they released Alarmo recently,
Alarm clock,
and you can only buy that if you were a subscriber to Nintendo or Switch Online.
I didn't
I
realize.
saw somebody recently say that this is the future of Nintendo. Was that person Guy by chance, or?
Apple is the future of gaming. Quoted
Here first
from Guillermo. All right. That concludes our quick bites. Let's go into our fantasy draft check-in. We've got a lot of stuff happening, guys. A lot of stuff happening. And let's just go down the list here. So, let's start with Call of Duty Black Ops 6, as we already talked about earlier. We're very much enjoying it. What kind of critical reception did we get from Call of Duty Black Ops 6? And it is an 83 right now for Gage. 13 points coming his way, which means subsequently, Ro, you are minus 13 points for this counter pick. So going backwards.
Darn. Yeah, I'm sad. I was hoping this would be a dud for some reason, but no, people liked it.
Never bet against the machine, Ro.
Honestly, that's the biggest clutch thing for me, because it's allowing me to possibly have a chance to pass you now, because
I know.
Yeah, those negative points are huge.
God damn it. It was -15. I'm glad I went down a little bit. I'll take the 2 points back.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's doing some major damage.
I'm still hoping that Hollow Knight, Silk Song, and Light No Fire get a magical release date before the end of the year. But
We got one more big event. It's possible.
They
it's
both shadow drop.
Yeah. Jeff Keighley's show. We also need Metal Gear Solid Snake Eater to fucking get a stealth drop. Where the fuck's that game at? Supposed to come out the fall. Where is it? All right. And then we have also an update of Dragon Age, the Veilguard, which was picked up by none other than Christian Macias. And that is not finalized yet, but it is an 82 right now. That'll give him 12 points when that gets locked in, which means subsequently Gage is going to lose his points he just got from Call of Duty Black Ops 3 by getting a minus 12 points for his counter pick. Oof.
You know what? We don't want you because when I counterpicked this, all right, you said what was your logic behind this? What was your logic? And genuinely, my logic was that the response to this game, I was betting on mass, was going to be similar to what Skill Up thought of this game. However, that's not how things went. So here we are.
Oh,
we deal with the hand that we're dealt.
And that hand doesn't work out sometimes. Like, you know, when I steal one of Ro's stupid ass fucking games and it gives me 3 points. Life is Strange, double exposure, 73 points. Or 73 score for 3 points. Damn it. I'm never picking up one of these stupid games again, Ro. Just kidding.
They're tough. No, you're right. they're a tough one to pin down. Like the last one did so good.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, it's just I don't know what happened. IGN gave it a 9 out of 10.
Damn. That's crazy.
But GameRank gave it a 5 out of 10.
Oof.
All over the place.
I've had way too many single digit ones this year. Like last year, I was getting a lot of double digits. That's why you guys are killing me now, because I've made some not so great picks. You guys are killing it.
Mm-hmm.
Should I go over the scores again, or in first place, Christian Macias is at 177 right now. Ro is in second with 147. I am right on his heels in third with 140. And Gage is eating the hot wings with 61 points.
Oh dear.
Sorry, Gage.
I don't like spicy food.
All right. Moving into the last segment here. What you got for me, Dan? What you got for me? I have just been playing a bunch of Black Ops 6 as well as, you know, my normal Halo. So I've already talked about Black Ops 6 in extensive detail and very much enjoying it, as I talked about right before the podcast. Played a round of zombies with Glenn, got to round 31, extracted, and that was really fun. So yeah, having a blast with it. Ro, what you got for me? I've seen you talking about something on Twitter.
Oh yes, I would love to talk about that. I will talk about that. Just really quickly, I've been also playing Metaphor ReFantasio still, the JRPG game by the team behind Persona. And I beat the boss that I was talking about last week. So I finished my first dungeon, super happy about it. And now the game's really happening. Like everything's really opening up, and it's crazy that I'm 20 hours in and I'm saying this.
Holy.
It's like, what? How is the game opening up now? But yeah, the real story is starting. Super exciting, having a blast with it still. But the game that Dan was alluding to was trading card game Pocket, Pokemon trading card game Pocket. So the mobile version of the Pokemon trading card game released today, and I'm already addicted to it, opening packs and collecting the Pokemon. Battling, you could battle with the cards that you collect as well. And if you will, gentlemen, I like to open a pack live with you guys.
Hell yeah.
Let's go.
See what we get.
Hell yeah.
So I could choose from these 3. Oh no, my screen.
Oh.
You can't see. I wonder if I could turn down the brightness.
That would help, yeah.
There we go.
Yep,
There we go.
There you go.
Okay. So you could choose from 3 Mewtwo, Charizard, and Pikachu packs. I usually go for the Mewtwo one. So let's do that one.
Wow.
So you could open a pack every 12 hours. You could also speed up the timer by using these hourglasses that you get from completing challenges. Let's see if it loads here. Okay, let's see.
Wow.
And this is so satisfying, like opening it up just by sliding across.
Oh
That's
my
cool.
God.
And it has and it tracks where your finger goes, so like the actual pack replicates how you slice it, so it looks how it looks. Okay, so I didn't get anything great there. I think I have that one.
Slowpoke.
Oh, I don't have this one. Aerodactyl.
Oh, hell yeah.
That's pretty nice. That's pretty nice. But I've gotten some pretty good cards so far. My girlfriend was saying I've been pretty lucky with what I've gotten. Like if these are real cards, it would be worth a little bit more. But yeah, I'm having a blast collecting them and just like seeing the deck fill up. It's just like all the serotonin, all those chemicals are going off. So I'm having a good time with it. Yeah.
Hell yeah. That's awesome. I've got my Halloween booster packs that I'm giving out for Halloween tomorrow for
nice.
the kids. Yeah, they freak out
That's
over
cool.
them. Yeah.
That's awesome. No apples at the Prindle household.
No
Only
apples.
Pokemon
Fuck
parents.
that.
Oh man.
All right. Gage, what you got for me?
I'm right there with you, Dan. Just a whole lot of Black Ops 6 on that zombies grind again, finally.
Hell yeah.
And yeah, that's pretty much it.
And Christian wants everyone to know that he bought a Steam Deck and he's playing mouth washing, which I hope that's not an actual. Is that a game?
It is.
Oh,
It's a horror game, I think.
I thought he was just saying he was
Mouthwash
mouthwash.
My goodness, I've heard good things about it. I think.
If there's anyone here in this podcast that deserves to be mouthwashing in their spare time, it's definitely Christian, because I've never met a man with a more foul mouth than Christian Macias.
Holy. Have you met Marty O'Donnell?
That's true. Marty O'Donnell, Christian Macias, they're neck and neck.
Oh, good. Shots fired. Shots fired.
Yeah, mouthwashing is a psychological horror game, and it has really, really good reviews right now.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Damn. Might have to check that out. Sounds cool. What the frick? Wild.
You checked it out?
Yeah. Interesting. All right. So that'll be our episode today, everyone. And I would like to thank everyone in the chat for joining us live on YouTube and Twitch, as well as podcast services everywhere, including Apple Podcasts, YouTube Music, I almost said Google Podcasts, Jesus, Spotify, and everywhere else you get your podcasts. Thank you, Ro. Thank you, Gage. Thank you, Christian, the chat, Natalie, Glenn, everyone who came out in the chat. Thank you. I am Daniel, and this has been Podcast PXN, and we are out. Much love, and keep on gaming.
See ya.
Adios.